Thank you for joining us here today at Quincy College. My name is Sean Glennon. I'm the Community Development Director for the City of Quincy, and I want to extend my appreciation to Dr. Chris Alfaro and Quincy College for hosting us this afternoon. This is National Community Development Week. It's an initiative of the National Community Development Association, of which the City of Quincy has been a long-time member. And this is a time when communities across the country celebrate the positive impacts of the Community Development Block Grant Program, the Home Investment Partnerships Program, and the Emergency Shelter Grant Program, which are funded by Congress, administered at the federal level by HUD's Office of Community Planning and Development, and administered locally by the city's Department of Planning and Community Development under the steadfast leadership of our director, Jim Fatsis. Several members of our team are here today. I want to thank them for their participation in attending CD Week events this week. I want to especially recognize Rhiannon Gorm, who coordinated this event and put together our entire CD Week calendar. Thank you, Rhiannon, for your work in this effort. An event like this is what CD Week is all about, bringing people together and celebrating the positive impacts and tremendous accomplishments that we make together in providing a better quality of life for our low and moderate income neighbors. This is the 51st anniversary year of the CDBG program. Quincy was a year one recipient, and over the past 51 years, we've received over $105 million from the CDBG program. Some major projects we are especially proud of over the past half century included the construction of the first Mannett Community Health Center in 1978, and of course the build out of Mannett's Radiology Suite in 2023, the creation of the Germantown Neighborhood Center and expansion efforts at the center, the emergency grant program for small businesses that Mayor Koch and Congressman Lynch launched 6 years ago in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Through that program, the city assisted 377 small brick and mortar shops. Many of those businesses would have gone out of business permanently if not for that program. And let's not forget about the entire suite of pandemic-era job training programs that CDBG funded in partnership with Quincy College. Many of you recall that's the last time we were here for a CD Week event, and today we're delighted to be back again to add to the long list of projects and programs funded by CDBG with an exciting announcement about a new economic development program, which we'll be offering in partnership with Quincy College and ICCC, the Initiative for Collaborative Intercity, under the direction of Steve Grossman. More on that later. This past Friday was Good Friday. And in fact, it was a Good Friday in the sense that not only were our FFY 2026 allocations announced for the program year starting on July 1st, but it was also confirmed that we'll be receiving increases in all three of our entitlement programs. ESG will increase by $5,000 or 2.5% to $162,000. Home will increase by $19,600 or 2.3% to $860,000, and CDBG will increase by nearly $46,000 or 2.5% to $1.887 million. What was not good about last Friday, however, is that President Trump's skinny budget, which is the White House's blueprint budget proposal for FFY 2027, was also released on Friday, and it calls for the total elimination of CDBG and Home. This is nothing new. The President has proposed elimination of those programs in each of his budgets, but fortunately Congress has ignored those proposals and has continued to fund these vital programs. Programs that provide social services and housing rehab to seniors and low-income families. Programs that create, maintain, and preserve affordable housing. Programs that provide infrastructure and public facility improvements across the city. And programs that provide economic development opportunities to local small businesses like the one we're celebrating today. None of this would be possible without Congressman Lynch's fierce advocacy on Capitol Hill, nor without Mayor Koch's visionary leadership in guiding us as to how most effectively to direct these crucial resources. And so to provide the greetings of the city and to introduce Congressman Lynch, please give a warm welcome to Mayor Tom Koch.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Sean, for all you do and your team, planning team. You keep me out of trouble. I know there's times when I want to spend it certain ways, and you convince me otherwise. At the end of the day, I know we get high marks from the federal government on how the program is run. So, Sean Glennon, thank you for the great job you do. I know this is a great day for a lot of reasons. And it's great to be here at Quincy College hosting, and I know Steve Grossman's going to be chatting a little bit about the ICCC program and the partnerships involved in that. I did want to acknowledge some colleagues in government who are here today. Senator Keenan, I see in the back, Representative Chan, and I think we have 3 councilors here. I see Ward 5 Councilor Maggie McKee. We have Councilor at-Large Noel DeBonner. I think Walter Hubley was here, or as well. There he is. Ward 3 Councilor Walter Hubley. Oh, and Ward 4 Councilor Virginia Ryan just come in. The beauty of this, councilors, is I don't have to go to the council to spend this money. I'm half kidding. But I'm excited about what will be announced today. I'm excited that I see Cynthia Sierra, so many incredible organizations that put on the line every day serving the people of the city, and some of that is funded by the CDBG. The CDBG program has been a huge, important asset over the years to us, and as Sean mentioned, the program for businesses with COVID, that was just phenomenal. And I remember reaching out to the congressman and asking him, could we be flexible with the CDBG program? So they did give us some great flexibility on how to deal with things on the ground, and that was the whole point of it. Congressman Lynch has been a champion in many, many things, on many things. Certainly CDBG is one of them. But I also want to mention another one that I know President DeCristofaro, then superintendent, is also proud of, and that's the DeCristofaro Learning Center, the first municipal school for autism in Massachusetts. And that was funded in large part by ARPA. When our congressman and the delegation fought for programs and fought for funding for cities and towns to get money on the street to keep the economy going, but to really do meaningful projects that we never used any federal money to fund payroll, to get over the hump. We used it all appropriately to make a real difference in the community. And I can tell you that the DeCristofaro Center has made a meaningful difference to the families we serve. I mean, you think about many of these kids would go on a bus in the morning, maybe an hour and a half to get to their school, and then that same trip home. These kids belong in the community, and when there's a problem, a kid's sick, mom and dad can be there in 10 minutes. Aside from that, the great programming educators we do, over time, and we made this argument, it made good business sense, because over time we're going to save money on a special education budget. So it's really a twofer, and it wouldn't have happened without the ARPA money, Congressman. I could go on and on. The earmarks you've gotten for various projects in Quincy. We're looking at a new firehouse. The Congressman secured $4 million towards that new firehouse. I could go on and on and on. He's been a true champion for the city. He's never lost touch with the district. I think part of the trouble in Washington is a lot of people live in a bubble and have lost touch with reality. This guy has never lost touch with reality. He's in the district constantly, and I'm truly grateful for all you do. Congressman Lynch.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for your kind words. Rick, thank you so much. I was with your son yesterday. They had me, I think it was yesterday or it was this morning. My days kind of run together. I spoke at the 8th grade at Central Middle School, and there were about 200 8th graders. I did not realize the classes were that big, but amazing. Spent a couple of hours with them. Great question. So your son is following very much in your own example, and a wonderful reflection of you and your family. My colleagues in government, I see Senator John Keenan back there, Tacky, members of the City Council. Good to see you all. Thank you for being here. I wanted to say that, and we have some great community partners here as well. Thank you all for coming here to celebrate Community Development Week. You know, when President Gerald Ford, back in 1974, I think, developed and signed into law the Housing and Community Development Act, he talked about returning power from Washington, D.C. and the banks of the Potomac back to communities, because he felt that the people closest to the problem were much more apt to understand what was needed and what was the priority that each city and town was dealing with. Before that, Congress had a very, I don't know, vague sense of what was needed in local communities, and there were two things that could happen. Either one, they would take their best guess at what states and cities and towns needed and put it in that direction, or they would simply push off the money to the states, to the governors, and allow them to try to establish what the priorities were. But in many states, you had members of Congress and members of the legislature who were of a different party than the sitting governor. So that did not work out well in many cases. It was more hoping that the money would end up in the right spot than any data might indicate. But what came out of that whole era was a better idea, and one that recognized that local leaders, our mayors, our city councilors, our state legislators are much closer to the problem and understand the needs of those communities best. Every city and town is different, so our approach in Washington, which was more cookie cutter, it was the same for everybody, across the 50 states, what all too often just didn't work. And too often the projects that we approved missed the mark for the needs of those communities. That's really the strength of the Community Development Block Grant Program. It puts the decision-making power in the hands of the people who are closest to the problem, allowing for smart investments that make a real difference in our cities and towns. And here in Quincy, you can see exactly what that looks like and what that means. For over the past 50 years, Quincy received, as Sean mentioned, over $102 million from the CDBG funding sources. And I have to say that from my time in Congress for the almost 25 years, your city has used it extremely wisely at the direction of the mayor and also the city council. You've invested in community center programs for youth and seniors. You've supported local food pantries, improved public facilities, strengthened infrastructure, and during the COVID-19 pandemic, as the mayor was speaking to, Congress expanded this program through the CARES Act, and through Mayor Koch and the City Council used that funding to help save more than 377 small businesses that were extremely hard hit at the time, had no revenue coming in because at the same time, Congress had asked and HHS has asked people to limit their outside activities. So all the economic activity was stopping as well. But the partnership between the City of Quincy and the Initiative for a Competitive Inner City to offer the Inner City Capital Connection Business Accelerator Program is exactly the kind of investment that CDBG was designed to support. None of this happens by accident, and it takes a strong leadership. It takes strong trust between partners and communities, and a shared mission. And during the appropriations process in Washington, we have to make some tough decisions. This is all competitive. These CDBG grants and who gets the money for what purposes is really it's a competition. And when we go through the Appropriations Committee, you have to make your case. And it always helps to have examples, successful examples of us putting out money and having a successful result and real impacts on as many people as possible. And Mayor Koch, during his time, has really demonstrated to the Appropriations Committee that if we give Tom Koch a buck, we get $5 back in return in terms of the services that are given to the city. The projects are on time, they're under budget, and they're exceptionally well received in the community. So all of that service over these years by Tom Koch and the City Council working with him has really built confidence that the members of the Appropriations Committee and members of Congress, they do have that confidence. They do know that Tom knows how to get the most out of the money that is sent to the City of Quincy. So he's really earned that trust. And from our perspective in Washington, when we invest in Quincy, we know we're getting great results as well. The partnership between myself and Mayor Koch, our city councilors, Tacky Chan, Bruce Ayers, and Senator Keenan, we know each other. I trust that they're in their integrity and their priorities are in the right place, and they know Quincy best. So we work to make sure that these federal resources are used in a way that maximizes their impact. These investments are not abstract. They're real. They change people's lives. They support our health centers, and we're lucky to have Manet Health Center here serving Quincy and other communities in my district. And recently we were able to appropriate funds through the block grant program to the wonderful Quincy Community Action QCAP program food center. And I had a chance, I've been over to the educational center, it's the Head Start, but it's the Wahlberg. I'm always blanking on that. The Wahlberg Center, and I've had an opportunity to sit and have breakfast with the kids and see what goes on there every single day. And it's amazing what QCAP is doing over there. I had a chance to sit with Joe Shea and Beth Ann Strollo and other parents discussing challenges that they're facing with the SNAP budget cuts. As part of the litigation task force in Congress, there's about 30 lawyers that every time we feel that the White House has broken the law or rescinded funding that had been previously authorized by Congress and signed by the president, we have to go to federal court to try to make sure that that funding actually is restored. And I'm happy to say we were successful. We went into federal court, federal district court, on behalf of SNAP recipients. The court ruled in our favor. It went to the appeals court. Took us about 6.5 months, but we finally got a final decision, and those SNAP dollars that were existing and pre-approved in an earlier Congress actually were expended on behalf of children and families that needed those benefits. So, but we're continuing to face challenges in Washington. Many of my colleagues, I don't think, fully understand or value these programs. Funding for critical support like Section 8 housing and Medicaid are also being cut. Many of our local health centers, Cynthia Sierra and others, and the hospitals are funded by Medicaid. So when it's tampered with, it has real consequences for families in Quincy and across the country. And as Sean mentioned, recently the president, in his proposed budget, would completely defund the CDBG program. So we don't listen closely to the president on this issue at all, on many issues, but especially this one. So I feel that there are many of my colleagues, this is not a Republican versus Democratic thing. Many of those red states have rural communities that are greatly struggling. They're relying on a health center and a community center, maybe a senior center to take care of seniors, maybe a veterans center, that are all relying on this funding in some capacity. So I'm fairly confident that we'll be able to get Republican votes onto our side and defend this funding going forward. There are people who appreciate the work that is being done by different agencies that are funded by CDBG. There is great appreciation, especially in tough times when prices of food and gas and other necessary items are going up, and families are more likely to have to rely on a food pantry like we see with QCAP here and other agencies across the state. We understand what this money means for those agencies and those families. So it's my job to make sure that those in Washington understand exactly what's going on in our districts and what this money means. Because right now, I'm not sure that the president understands that, or that those around him are explaining the value and the impact of these dollars. What you do here matters. It makes a real difference in people's lives, and it's something that myself and Mayor Koch and Senator Keenan and Reps Ayer and Chan and Mariano and members of the City Council all care deeply about, and I promise we will continue to fight for all that funding. I'm proud to support robust funding for CDBG, and just so you know, our proposal, and my request to the Appropriations Committee designates at least $4.2 billion in federal funding, and to reject this idea of zeroing out CDBG funding across the country. So in closing, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you do. You know, I see Philip Chong here, who does a wonderful job as well with our Asian community and the benefits flow from that. It's an honor. It's the honor of my life to represent the City of Quincy in the United States Congress. You've demonstrated time and time again, you take care of your seniors, you take care of your kids, you take care of our veterans, and that says a lot about the City of Quincy. And you know, may God bless the City of Quincy, may God protect our troops, and may God continue to bless these United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. At this time, I'm going to turn things over to Steve Grossman, CEO of ICIC, who is going to provide some remarks and moderate the next few sections of the program.
Thank you so much, Sean. You know, for me, as I look at people in this room, my whole life passes in front of me. It was 26 years ago that Stephen Lynch, when he was state senator, Stephen Lynch, called me and said, "You're coming to my St. Patrick's Day breakfast. You're going to be speaking. You're running for office, right?" I said, "Right." He said, "Margaret and I want you to come over afterwards because we got a few hundred people come through our house on St. Patrick's Day, and I want you to meet them." He didn't know me at all, but he was kind and he was generous, and it was an act of kindness and an act of friendship, and that's the relationship we've had for 26 years. And I'm grateful for your friendship, and I'm grateful for Margaret's. I'm glad she's back to good health after a siege, a bout, and my hope is that you'll continue to serve the people of Quincy and the people of your district for many, many, many years to come. And thank you, as always, for your leadership, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
John, thank you for your willingness to MC this tonight. And also, I met you in the mayor's office just a few weeks ago, and you were so kind to guide us through the process, the CDBG process. It's not an easy process. I had to sign and sign and sign. My hand got, and I was state treasurer once upon a time. I used to sign a lot of bonds, but my hand got tired signing all those documents. So I promise we will meet every one of those criteria that you put in front of us, and thank you for the CDBG grant we got. And Tom had hosted me for a fish sandwich over at Tony's last summer. We hadn't seen each other in a few years, but frankly, when I ran for office, I got more support in Quincy than I did in my hometown of Newton, thanks to Tom Koch and a lot of other people in this room. We sat over a fish sandwich, and he said, "Tell me what you're doing." I said, "I'm running a program called ICIC, the Initiative for Competitive Intercity, and we run a program called Intercity Capital Connections, and it's a small business accelerator." He said, "Well, the first person you need to meet is Maureen Geary, because nobody does it better than Maureen Geary. Nobody." He said, "That's the first call you're going to make, and I'll let Maureen know you're going to call." Of course, Maureen introduced me to Rhiannon, and Rhiannon has just been a rock star throughout this whole process. And the fact that this room is full, standing room only, is in large measure due to Rhiannon's leadership. So Maureen and Rhiannon were wonderful. So what happened last year, we did a little pilot, and they recruited about 8 Quincy small businesses. And they went through our program last year, which was at Roxbury Community College. And Tom said, "I love what you did, but next year, you're going to bring this to Quincy College, right?" I said, "Well, I've known Rick G. Cristofaro for a long, long time, and he runs a program for business students and for others here in this community." So we partnered up in the office one day. Maureen was there, and Rhiannon was there, and Sean was there, and Rick was there, and our team was there. And so this program is the result of that, to bring this program to Quincy, to help small businesses. I've known almost every mayor over the years in which I've served in public office. I've known a lot of mayors of the cities and towns. There is no mayor in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts who has paid more attention to small businesses and put more time, effort, and resources into lifting up those small businesses, giving them the tools, the education, the coaching, and the capital they needed. that this city is flourishing and the small business community in this city of Quincy is flourishing, Tom, is in large measure due to your leadership and your steadfastness in making sure that, because we all know that most of the jobs in this country are created by what? Small businesses. The councilors know that. The senator knows that. The representative knows that. We all know that. So that leadership, Tom, is absolutely essential, and that you, over the fish sandwich that you paid for, thank you very much for lunch. It's my treat this summer.
I know you're in a fixed income.
It's my treat this summer. So I thank you so very much. I would just acknowledge a few of my colleagues who are here. You'll meet Indy Tavares in just a few minutes. She's running this program. She's our lead program coordinator at ICIC. I want you to meet Sarah Ganand. Raise your hand, Sarah, who's our marketing communications director, and Catherine Scott. And I don't know whether my colleague Kara Pooja's here. Pooja's the deputy director of our business transformation team. She runs several programs at ICIC. And Pooja, Catherine, Indy, Sarah, and 50 other colleagues run these programs all over Massachusetts and across the country, because we're a national organization. So let me just step out of the way here for a second. By the way, this program tonight is really, you're being hosted tonight by two groups. The City of Quincy, first and foremost, Dr. Cristofaro and Quincy College, and my friend Rob Drake and M&T Bank. Rob will introduce his colleagues here when he speaks in a few minutes. M&T Bank is growing dramatically here in Massachusetts. They opened an office here in Massachusetts a year ago. I didn't get to the opening, but several of my colleagues did. When I reached out to Rob, I said, Rob, let's partner on this. Let's make sure that M&T is recognized for what it is doing for small businesses here in the city of Quincy. Because as Quincy goes, so does the South Shore and this whole geographic area of the state. So Rob, thank you so much for your leadership and for M&T Bank's leadership. I'm not going to read what's on the slide. ICIC has been around since Michael Porter from Harvard Business School started it back in 1994, one of the best-known business professors in the world. Michael Porter started it because he believed that small businesses and inner cities were the backbone of our country, and that we need to rebuild our inner cities through small businesses. Cindy, next one. So ICCC program is one of 6 programs we run. ICCC Inner City Capital Connections. We run it in cities all over the United States. We run 2 cohorts here in Massachusetts. This cohort that we're asking all of you to consider recruiting small businesses for, no cost to the program. That program will begin on June 24th in this room, right here at Quincy College. And I want to acknowledge my friend Joanna Don right here, sitting in the back right over there. Joanna is the first recruit and the first person to sign up for this program, and Joanna is getting her master's, her bachelor's in business administration right here at Quincy College. She doesn't have to go far. She'll go from her classroom right to the program and back to the classroom. I think you'll be sleeping overnight here a few nights too. So nice to have you here, Joanna. So ICCC is all about education, technical assistance, one-on-one coaching, and access to capital. The mother's milk, if you want to use that phrase, of small businesses. And these days, with the Small Business Administration having been hammered, I'll say about this administration, they don't get it when it comes to small businesses. They passed a law or a policy on March 1st that unless a small business is 100% owned by an American citizen, 100%, you can no longer get a loan or a loan guarantee from the SBA. Think about all the businesses we know in Quincy and in every one of our other 350 cities and towns all over Massachusetts that are owned by people who are citizens, they're green card holders, they're legal residents, they work hard, they pay taxes, they create jobs. Now this administration has said no more loans, no more loan guarantees. I hope, Steve, you'll work on that with Senator Markey and others to make sure that that gets reversed, because that is un-American. We've got 36 million small businesses in this country. Over 10 million of them are owned by people from diverse backgrounds. They need help now more than they've ever needed it before. Next slide, Indy. That's our reach in the 21 years we've run the program. I won't read the numbers. You can read those numbers. But $2.6 billion of capital has been raised. We've helped create over 29,000 jobs. When I say we've helped, we don't create the jobs. The small businesses create the jobs. Those entrepreneurs that go to work every day and work 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week to bring food home, to put it on the table, to create jobs and to create economic opportunity, to grow revenue, and to create strong, healthy communities. Tom, I think you'd agree that the health and well-being of this city is inextricably linked to the health of the small business sector of this economy, which is why this is so important. Next one, Indy. Those are the number of people we've graduated in 11 cohorts in the Boston area. You'll see the background here, 63% minority-owned, 53% woman-owned. They've created 1,900 jobs just here in Greater Boston alone, 116% revenue growth, 140 million of capital. But the next slide shows you the beginning of a program that Quincy is going to accelerate this year. And 26 businesses have been trained, Quincy businesses, and they've grown too. They've grown 161% from the time they graduated from the program. They've raised almost $1 million in capital, and they've created 161 jobs. Job creation, the most important part of what we do. Jobs for the future, jobs for families, jobs for young people, jobs across the city. And last slide, and then you're going to come right up here, Indy.
Yes, sir.
So again, Indy Tavares is our senior program coordinator. She's our lead communications coordinator. She will be the one that you'll want to be talking to. And you've got a packet in front of you. Everybody's got a folder that has a one-pager about this program. But we will reach out to every one of you in the next 48 hours to let you know how to reach us and how to nominate small businesses. Again, no cost to this program. You're going to be the leaders here. So we come together on June 24th and fill up this room with small business owners from the City of Quincy. You're going to have made that miracle happen. Indy, go right ahead.
Thank you so much, Steve. Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm so grateful to see every one of you here today with us, and I'm excited to share that we've been working with the City of Quincy, and I want to give a big thank you to Mayor Koch and his team for collaborating with us last year and kicking off what is going to be a beautiful relationship and an opportunity for more Quincy small businesses to get the access and support that they need. Now I will go over a little bit more about our ICCC program, the benefits of participating, program criteria, and timelines. The ICCC program is designed to support small business owners navigating growth and increasing business complexity. By participating in ICCC, businesses are able to access core business curriculum covering strategy, finance, marketing, talent management, leadership, as well as artificial intelligence, and it's all led by renowned professors from across the country through monthly sessions. Participants are also empowered by elective pathways, so participants are able to focus on exactly what their business challenges are, whether that be financial topics, marketing, a business plan. They have the opportunity to really design the curriculum to support them the way they need it. They also gain support via our Capital Access Hub that provides practical tools, guidance, and one-on-one coaching on financing topics. Our program enables flexible learning and structured support that leads strategic progress that helps entrepreneurs scale and grow through their community. Our program structure is going to be delivered by a hybrid format, so they'll have 5 different touch points with us through 5 months, which equals about 40 credit hours completed. The program begins, as Steve mentioned, with our opening seminar on June 24th in this very room. And that opening seminar is a half-day session that has training that provides presentations on business strategy, artificial intelligence, and also features our capital resource panel. Participants will have the opportunity to connect with other small businesses in the area, as well as our capital partners and alum who have gone through the program. From there, participants will touch base with us for 3 virtual sessions once a month. There, they'll have the opportunity to continue their scaling and their growth and hear from professors focused on marketing, talent and culture, as well as finance. Each one of these sessions will be worth credits. So as they go through the program, they'll be building credits, and sooner than you know it, you'll reach that 40 credit hour because each component is worth a different amount of credits. When we're not meeting with our participants also have access to different live virtual events that include our different webinars, fireside chats, coffee chats. We also have a digital learning platform where participants can access on-demand courses that complement their learning, and as well as access different coaching opportunities through mentorship, where they're assigned a mentor and can discuss the different business strategies that they'd like to tackle. Again, all of these interactions are worth credits. The program ends with a cohort graduation in which participants who complete the 40 credit minimum are awarded a certificate of completion. And here behind me, you can see what our program criteria is. And we just ask a few short basic criteria. We ask that small businesses that apply are established businesses that have been operating for at least 3 years and are generating revenues of $150,000 a year. Outside of that, we just ask for businesses that are ready to scale, are excited to access innovative tools like artificial intelligence, and meet with coaches. This next slide, you'll be able to see a recruitment timeline. So the kickoff of our recruitment is actually here now, and I thank you all for joining us at our kickoff. From here on out, we'll have about 2.5 months until that June 24th program start date. So all we ask of you folks is to spread the word. You have these little packets that have our program flyer, as well as there's a QR code on the other page on the left-hand side that can lead you folks to our nomination portal. And if you guys can spread the word, we will be greatly appreciative. I will follow up also through an email that contains all of this information, as well as our nominator media kit that includes social media language, as well as an email blast language, so you guys can get that word out easier. And I'm not sure if Sandra Ishmael is in the room. Hello, Sandra. Sandra is actually an all-star here. I'm excited to introduce her and have her speak a little bit about her experience. She was nominated from the City of Quincy, and I thank you, Maureen, for introducing us to Sandra and a number of other small business owners. As you guys heard from me previously, we have a 40 credit minimum in order to complete the program and earn that graduation certificate. Sandra here completed 57 different credits. So she was incredibly involved, and she is here to give us a little spiel about how that went last year. But she also is a small business owner here in the town of Quincy. So if you guys are looking for a self-care day, definitely check out Allure Spa. She's the owner of Allure Spa, and I'd like to introduce you folks to Sandra Ishmael. Welcome.
Thank you all for having me here. Thank you, Mayor Cole. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, Maureen Gary, and everyone else that really try to support my business. This month, actually, Allure Spa will be ending 32 years in business. It was opened on April 1994, so I'll be starting 33 years in business in the same location in the city of Quincy. What I learned a lot from the inner city was pretty much the technology. And being in business for so many years, you never stop learning. There's always new things coming out. Technology, I learned a lot with the ChatGPT that really helped me with marketing ideas and with the social marketing. It also helped encourage me to know that there was other people out there like me that was struggling with certain things, and I could be able to connect with them through networking. There was this, and I'm going to share this story that really helped me think about critical thinking in the time of the pandemic. There was this woman who had a $50 million company, and the pandemic hit. And all she was wondering now, how do I save my company? But for her, it was pretty much, how do I save the lives of every employee? And that was what really struck me, with the critical thinking on how you have to reinvent yourself. There was just so much that I learned, and I can go on and on. And I was so grateful for it. So I just want to say thank you again. Being a small business, there was a lot of struggle with the pandemic, and thanks to the CDBG. I was one of those small businesses that got some help to keep her doors open. And if it wasn't for that, I would be out of business. At the end of the day, it's all about caring for each other. And I'm just thankful for that. The digital learning really helped me a lot as well. So that was what I really enjoyed, being able to do it at my own convenience as well. I just want to thank you all.
Thank you. You know, we've got lots of alumni in Quincy, but I tell you, when we come together a year from now and do a recruitment for next year's cohort, we will probably add another 20 or 25 or 30 Quincy businesses, just like Sandra, who will benefit from the education, the coaching, the mentorship, the AI, and all the tools that they need to grow and sustain businesses. So thank you for everything you've done. 32 years in the same location. That, you know, I ran a small business for many, many years. My grandfather started it back in 1910. We struggled sometimes, but nothing like the struggles you faced, and that you have overcome those, and you came out stronger than ever with such confidence in the future. We believe in you because you believe in Quincy, and that's really an important relationship. So
Yes.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you all.
So,
Thank you all. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.
absolutely. So you've heard enough from me. I want you to just hear for a few minutes before I turn it over for a last part of the session to my colleague, Rob Drake. Rob Drake, as I may have said to you earlier, is the head of business banking for M&T Bank here in Massachusetts. He's here with a team of colleagues. They believe in Quincy, and you'll hear why. And Rob, so glad that you've partnered with us and that we've partnered with you. M&T Bank, one of the 10, 11 largest banks in the United States, but they have chosen that Quincy is a place where they want to put a flag. They've done that, and we're very proud to work closely with you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
It's,
Rob.
I have to follow that and Sandra's remarks, and I know that we have light bites coming our way, so I'll try to be quick for everybody. My name's Rob Drake, and I'm the regional manager for business banking across Massachusetts for M&T Bank. And I want to introduce my colleagues, James Davenport, who runs our Eastern Mass team, and Dave Lapergola and Herb Wong, who sit in Quincy and are the bankers on the streets here. If you guys just want to do a quick wave. It was great to hear all these comments, and you know, when I was thinking about the congressman sharing how it's the job to bring the local feel to the federal government to know what really needs support, in many ways M&T Bank does the same thing. We're a large bank with 27 unique regions across basically New England and through the Mid-Atlantic, and while we're headquartered out of Buffalo, New York, we have executives throughout our footprint and regional presidents in each region. And it's unique in a bank for our size, where those regional presidents listen to bankers like me and my colleagues on the ground, to local officials like Mayor Koch on what's needed in the communities. And with that, we're able to make decisions on where to lend money, where to show up in terms of education, where to sponsor events and support through grants. And for that, we feel that we're helping support those communities. And another unique thing is we have a lot of talent spread throughout our footprint. And I got a call maybe a little over a year ago from a colleague from the Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. He said, you know, Steve Grossman sits in Boston, Massachusetts, and we've been partnering with ICCC in Baltimore for a number of years. And, you know, I think it might be a great conversation. So I was able to meet Steve just through a colleague, believe it or not, from the Mid-Atlantic. And I said, you know, Steve, we've been listening to our customers, our colleagues, and we have 61 branches across Massachusetts, and we don't have anything south of Boston. And while many banks and financial institutions are holding back, we're making investments. And I was pleased to say that last June we opened an office right down the street in Quincy, and that's really, as Steve said, planting the flag for where we look to go in the South Shore in Massachusetts. So M&T's invested in this community. We believe in listening to our customers. We believe in educating our customers and in showing up in person. I know your program talks a lot about technology and AI. We still believe in showing up in person and helping our customers and those business owners that run this economy to help them in one little way, whether it's giving advice, in some cases giving a loan, or in some cases protecting them from fraud. So we could not be more pleased to partner with Mayor Koch, Steve and ICIC to help another cohort of small business owners, because as I said many times, that's the backbone of the economy. So thank you so much for having us here, and best of luck in the new cohort.
This brings us to the awards portion of our program. And before I forget, I'd ask our award winners and guest speakers if they could come up to the front for a few minutes for some additional pictures. We have 2 awards to present this afternoon, and neither of the recipients know they are about to be recognized. So I apologize in advance for putting them on the spot, but it's part of the fun. That's what keeps it exciting during CD Week. The first plaque is a recognition award that is going to someone who quite literally made this event and this week possible. As I mentioned before, she coordinates CD Week each year. She organized a phenomenal public services luncheon summit earlier this afternoon, and she has planned another speaking program for later this week. She's also our in-house CDBG economic development planner, which means she'll be managing the contract with ICIC for this new program. She also led the effort in developing a community resources guide, which was launched this week. She's a consummate professional, always going above and beyond the call of duty. As an assistant planner, she executes at a level more consistent with that of a senior planner or even a principal planner. And the initiative she takes is a model for others to emulate. In fact, when I came into the office yesterday, I went up to her and asked her if she had a draft of today's program. And she said, not only do I have a draft, they're already printed and done, so I hope you like them. Yeah, she's a tremendous asset to our team. I'm so grateful for her hard work and dedication. So please join me in congratulating Rhiannon Gorm.
Maybe later.
Yeah?
No, thank you.
You sure?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
She's being shy. That's. For our second and final award, I'm going to ask the mayor to come up and join me for this one. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award, which goes to another.
Which means you're old.
Which goes to another individual who helped make this event possible and has not only dedicated his career to public services, but specifically to public education. Dr. Richard DeCristofaro was appointed as president of Quincy College in 2020 after serving as the assistant superintendent and superintendent of Quincy Public Schools for a total of 27 years. Prior to those roles, Dr. D was a principal at Snug Harbor Community School and assistant principal at Point Webster Middle School. He has many years of teaching experience at the elementary, middle, high school, and college levels. And throughout his partnership at the college, we provided CDBG funding, a job training program funding, to numerous cohorts of students over the past 10 years alone. And his service to the community in providing excellence in education for the past several decades will leave a lasting legacy for generations to come. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Rick DeCristofaro.
I've been around for over, oh, hello, kids. Been around for over 50 years, even though I probably look 25 or 30. But I've been incredibly fortunate in this city, to work with wonderful people, including Mr. Mayor here, and City Council and School Committee, just wonderful people that always care about others. And that's really what it's all about, right? And what do we say? We have 3 things that are really important in life. Number 1, to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third, let's hear it, to be kind. Thank you so very, very much. Thank you.
That concludes our program. Thank you for joining us, and please stay for some refreshments. Have a good evening.